Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Carolina Conversation. I'm your host, Shammond Williams, and we have a Carolina great with us today. But first and foremost, if you like the Carolina Conversation, please subscribe to your podcast platform and push like and give me some constructive criticisms. But we have a young man that I watch grow from 18 years old to, he's a man now. I say young man, but yeah, he's a man now. But he came to the University of North Carolina in 2001 as a McDonald's All-American, a parade All-American. And in 2002, he was also a first-team All-ACC freshman team player. But more importantly, he was the captain on Coach Williams' first national championship team, hailing from Cleveland, Ohio, ladies and gentlemen, none other than the great Jawad Williams.
There you go. Doing too much, man. I appreciate it, though.
Welcome, Jawad. Appreciate you being on the Carolina Conversation. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Well, good. No, I appreciate you participating, finding the time, because for those who don't know where he is, it's 11 p.m. And we're starting this Carolina Conversation at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time because he's still playing. He has year 17?
No, this year 16. Year 16 right now.
Year 16, playing professional basketball. Jawad Williams is in Japan. And so how are things going for you out there in Japan, man? How are things?
Everything's good, man. I can't really complain. I'm doing what I love to do. I'm back in a city I'm familiar with. I came to Japan. The first time I came to Japan, I came to this city, and I'm returning back to this city. So it's been a lot of love. The season, we're having some ups and downs, but for the most part, it's all love, and we're fighting through, the circumstances with COVID around it and everything. But for the most part, it's been great.
Yeah. Well, I know they're extremely happy to have you to winning championships out there, back-to-back championships, and having the pedigree that you have. And so I know that you've been doing a lot of other things outside of basketball. I think I see you with your Strive to Excel shirt on. Can you explain to the people that's listening what Strive to Excel is?
Strive to Excel is my nonprofit organization that I founded about 4 years ago. Our main goal is to help underprivileged youth throughout the United States. Right now, our focus is in Durham, North Carolina, where I currently live, and where I'm from, Cleveland, Ohio. So we make sure we do a lot of different things. We hold basketball clinics. We call it our Basketball Plus program. Basketball is just the foundation to get people in the gym. And then we sit there and we teach. We teach about life. We have people come in from different walks of life to give them a different perspective on everything, that our lives don't begin and end with sports. There's a world outside of sports. We created scholarship funds to help different kids find ways to education, better their education, whether it be college or trade school, whatever it is. We created a scholarship fund that's named after my grandmother, Lavinia Hillman. And now we're getting into low-income housing. So we're making steps and trying to make sure we leave our impact.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. And now, because you do have a vast background, playing in the NBA and then playing in Europe and also having the opportunity to play in Asia, you've experienced a lot of things outside of basketball that we're accustomed to and experience different cultures. And when you have that opportunity, it helps your mind grow, and it informs you about a lot of things that you wouldn't know or think about and things like that. So it's interesting to see that, because I had that background as well, living abroad and things like that. But what's important, I thought that people need to know, is that Jawad is also an author. And I have two of his books right here. One is Naila and Nash Take Paris. And then we have Naila and Nash Take Tokyo. And so can you explain these two books to the people that are listening, that they can purchase on Amazon? I think they're great books. I've purchased quite a few for a lot of kids and what you call them, K5 and K4s for, so they can have an opportunity to see the world outside of just the environment that we're raised. Can you explain a little bit to us about these two books?
So, little backstory. Since the birth of my children, my wife has always made it a priority that we read to our kids before they go to bed. To open up their imagination, to expand their vocabulary and everything. And it worked out for us. Mm-hmm. And one day I just literally just popped in my head. I was like, man, I read so many children's books. I can write my own. This is easy. So I based it on my oldest two children, Nyla and Nash, and the places that we've been. We've been all over the world. And they've been to school. They've been to school in Paris. They've homeschooled in Turkey. They've been to school in Athens, Greece. They've been all over the world. So I just started to take their memories for the pictures and everything, turn them into cartoon characters. And I literally just wrote out what happened. And I'm giving people a view of the world through children's eyes, the way they seen everything. And everything is a real experience based on true stories. So, it worked out. I mean, so far, the books have been selling very, very well. I appreciate you buying them and everything.
Hey,
so,
man,
they've been doing really well.
Yeah, you have to tell me twice. And ladies and gentlemen, listen, they are great books. They be some great books. If you have children, you have grandchildren, make sure you go on Amazon and you purchase those books because they are awesome. And my children love them. And you also have the teachers that are at the K4 and K5 that I before, they really enjoy them. And so it gives a lot of kids some perspective on, like I said before, outside the environment that they're currently in, and let them know, hey, the world is bigger than what we see each and every day, right?
Yeah, I try to make people understand that too. I try to make my kids understand that. They think jumping on a plane and going to another country is just what people do. And I'm letting them understand, like, that's not how this works. Like, we're very privileged to be in the position we're in, that we do get to travel a lot, experience different cultures and everything. So it's been a blessing, man. I've written 5 books so far. I only released those 2. The third is coming very soon. It's already complete. All I got to do is just put it out there, but I haven't yet. I also started another book for my twins, which is nursery rhymes. So, I'm just I want to leave my kids with something so they can look back and say, look, our dad did this for us. And outside of that, there's a gap in the market where you don't see children of color in the children's book sections like you should. And I feel like I can fill that gap and also give a perspective of traveling abroad.
Right. Well, it's awesome that you're doing that because it's extremely exciting and very informative as well. And so now we have to go back in time, and if we can, go all the way back in time. Let's go back to 2000, 2001. A young Jawad Williams walking through Cleveland, Ohio. What made Jawad Williams decide to go to the University of North Carolina?
I always got to tell people this part. North Carolina was not my first option.
Right.
North Carolina was actually probably my 3rd or 4th. My first option was Cincinnati. But at the time, I wanted to play for Bob Huggins. The point guard, Steve Logan, was also my point guard in high school, so I wanted to go team up with him again. And the issue with that was they had a 0% graduation rate at the time. So my parents scratched that one off the list. So I had to back out. Then I went on my unofficial visit to Maryland, and I happened to go during Greek week. So you know how that is. I get there, Maryland, Greek week, all this is going on. I'm like, I'm coming here. I commit. Set on that commitment for about a week, and then I got on a plane that headed to Chapel Hill for my official visit, and Jackie Manuel was on that visit with me as well, and that changed the game. I was like, this is it. I'm going to Carolina. So it was different for me, like I said, but it was the best for me at the time.
We'll get back to the Carolina conversation in a minute, but first, let me tell you about our partners over at DraftKings Sportsbook. With March Madness beating down our door, DraftKings is the best way for you to get a little action in on the games. If you have not downloaded the DraftKings Sportsbook app, please do so immediately. It's the safest, it's the most secure, it's reliable, and it allows you to safely deposit and withdraw your money at your convenience. And this week, DraftKings is offering the listeners of the Carolina Conversation a pretty sweet deal. If you sign up now with the promo code FIELD68, you could turn $1 into $100. If one of the main event fighters of the UFC 259 this weekend lands a single punch. That's right. If one UFC fighter lands one single punch, you can turn one punch into $100. And don't worry, if MMA isn't your thing, DraftKings Sportsbook offers odds and promos on basketball, hockey, or whatever sport you are watching. But since they're basically giving away $100, you might as well sign up now. Watch a little UFC. And remember, use the promo code FIELD68. That's FIELD68. You must be 21 years or older. The offer is available for a limited time only. Eligibility restrictions apply. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Yeah. What can you elaborate on some of the things that you experienced while you were in Chapel Hill that kind of stood out to you when you came on your visit?
Well, like everyone knows, that Carolina family thing, that's real. You know, that's very, very, very real. You know, you get there and you get a sense of family. Like you see people that have long gone from school and they still coming back. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, he graduated 10 years ago. Why is he still here? But he's just there because it's home. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I learned that from you when you came around my freshman year. And now I'm doing the same thing that you taught me to do for the young guys. So I'm always around. I'm always teaching. I'm always helping out. That's just the way it is around there. The family is pretty close.
Yeah, no question. No question. And, I remember when you guys first hit campus, and you first came down to play pickup and things like that. Can you explain to the people how it was to finally get to Chapel Hill and then come down? Because, everybody understands the greatest thing about Carolina is summertime pickups. So when you first came down and your freshman year, you got a chance to get out there and play pickup. How was that environment for you?
The environment was great. It was super competitive. I remember the first day pretty clear because it was like that's when I got my first wake-up call of what Carolina was all about. Knew you was there. Know what you do. Everybody knows Shammond Bucket. So, that's one thing. Then I'm finally playing against Jason Capel, who was, years ahead of me, but I seen him win the McDonald's game. I seen Chris Lane before. I seen these guys, and I finally get to see them in person. Joe Forte was coming back around that time. But the biggest thing that stood out was I just knew I was going to play. I'm the top recruit. I knew I'm playing first game. So I walk out there, they picking the teams, and I'm like, all right, who got me pretty much? I know I'm playing. Orlando Melendez comes to me and tap me. Hey, sit down. Yeah, I'm on this one. I'm like, sit down. Like, oh, he must not know who he's talking to. And they're like, no, that's how we do things around here, seniority. So you gonna have to sit there and wait your turn. And that was my first humbling experience at Carolina, and it stuck with me to this day. And I take that same mentality back to Chapel Hill every summer. I see one of the young guys and look, young fella, go sit down. I got this. Like you might not play today, depending on how I feel.
For sure. Yeah. And the greatest part about that, you hear other guys that have been on here, and when we talk about that, a lot of people may think that we're embellishing or we may be exaggerating. And so to hear you come in and say, go sit, go on over there.
Orlando, some people might not even know who Orlando is. Orlando tapped me like, go sit down, man. I got this. I'm like, damn, he don't know me like that. Like, he's like, no, for real. That's how we do things. Go sit down. Like, you got next. Yeah, and I just sit there and wait my turn.
Yeah. And when that ball rolled, we'll get that ball.
Man, yeah, I remember that. I remember the ball running. They like freshmen. I'm like, what about us? They like, go get the ball. I'm like, everybody's like, just go get it. So now we jogging over there to go pick up the ball. And I remember Jackie sprinting over there faster than everybody. I was like, oh, he trying to get some brownie points. I guess he's sprinting too fast to go get that ball. Like, I ain't for that. But once again, when it's your turn to do that to somebody else, you take it hard. It's like, because then you get the hard-headed kids that come in and they don't want to break right away. So I took the ball a couple of times and kicked it up in the stands. Like, go get that. You know what I'm saying? If you don't go get it, it's gonna be a misunderstanding. So, however you want to handle this.
Furniture movement. It's gonna be some furniture. Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, that's But the greatest part about that is everybody's experienced, regardless of you're the number one recruiter, you're the last recruit. I mean, this is how we do things, and this is why we've had so much success. So, so after experiencing, the Carolina summer pickup, going into your freshman year, how were things for you your freshman year?
Freshman year was tough, man. Like, I came in with high expectations. I came in with not expectations from like the media or outside sources, from myself.
Right.
I'm coming in. I never forget, first game, we played Hampton. And I remember the night before watching some of my counterparts from McDonald's game play, and I said, oh, he had 20. Oh, he had 15. Oh, I'm going to blow them out the water. That's all they did? That's right. How I'm thinking. So we go against Hampton. First half, I had 10 points and 7 rebounds. I'll never forget this. Second half, I didn't play at all. And I don't know what's going on. And we lost to Hampton. Coach Doherty told me, oh, you're being too selfish. So we don't do that here. You won't play. I'm like, well, damn, we just going to lose then. That's my train of thought at the time. I'm like, we going to lose. I'm like, if I don't play, we going to lose. So,
right.
I mean, so we took our lumps, man. We took our lumps my freshman year. Finished 8-20, the worst season in Carolina history to this day. But it was a learning experience, man. It made me tougher. I got them good calluses on me, so a lot of stuff didn't bother me too much after that. Right.
I remember, the time because I was there in the off season, and the one thing that I do appreciate about you guys is, even though you had that difficult season, that next summer you guys were in that gym like no other. You know what I mean? It was kind of like, you all had something to prove. Not just you, but you all had something to prove, and y'all were a little bit more hungrier. You know what I mean? And so, can you explain to us, how were things finishing that year, and knowing what had transpired, and how was that for you as a kid, and then having to matriculate and move forward as a sophomore, because you had a pretty good season your freshman year. You were all freshmen, and so how for you moving forward, going into that sophomore season?
Well, I contemplated leaving Carolina. I questioned, was it the place for me? I mean, like I said, from that first game, the rest of the season, I'm like, I don't know if I should be here. You know what I mean? I came in with the mindset of, I'm coming to be the man, win, and get out of here. You know what I mean? That's my mindset coming in, knowing I was going to have to do 2 years. That was my mother's rule, whatever. So, I thought about leaving after my freshman year, and then I thought about it. I'd never forget, I'm sitting there having these thoughts, and I call home. My mother's like, it's on my mother and father both. It's on you. But just remember, you never ran from anything in your life. And I was like, you're right. And then I started playing the name game. When you tell somebody you go to the University of North Carolina, holds a lot more weight than telling them, hey, I go to University of Cincinnati. No disrespect to University of Cincinnati, because I love the program, but it's just a different type of vibe you get when you say you go to University of North Carolina. Right. And once I got done playing that name game, I was like, there's nowhere else I can go. So I'm here. I'm going to ride it out, and since I'm here, might as well try to get this program back on track.
Right. And so how was the sophomore season? How were you guys the sophomore season after having an 8-20 season? How was that season for you guys?
Sophomore season, it was better. We were a year more mature. We got stacked with talent with Ray, Sean, Rashad, David, Byron, and Debo all came in. I don't think I missed anybody, but yeah, we were super talented, and myself, Jackie, and Melvin, we were forced into a leadership role. The entire class that was ahead of us transferred; they were gone. So now it's just like, it's us. The freshmen from the year before are now captains pretty much of the team. So we were forced into a leadership role, and we had to we're trying to be leaders and help the younger guys, the raise class. At the same time, we're competing with them. It's a fine line right there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because you know how Carolina practice is. You got to bust their ass every day to let them know why you're who you are. Right. But at the same time, we got to help them and pull them along with us so they don't experience what we experienced.
Right.
So we got better, man, and record improved a little bit, but we still wasn't where we needed to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The atmosphere dramatically changed competitive-wise. Like you said, that group ahead of you, they all transferred. And so now having you, Jackie, Melvin as the veterans, and then having Ray, Rashad, and David and all those guys come in there. Sean, the summertime, it was like, okay, the environment has changed, and there was very seldom you couldn't catch anybody not playing no basketball. You know what I mean? Where previously it was, I have to pull rank or grab this person or tell them, hey man, we play. You know what I mean? Like going into your junior year, it was, hey man, let's get it, and it was really exhilarating for me because it allowed me to be able to get a lot of other guys to start coming back and participating and playing against you guys and to see how you guys handled that environment and grew. It was really great for me. And so
let's touch on that. Let's touch on that real quick. I remember you coming back. And at this, like you said, you got the other guys to come back. So now this is like my first time getting to play against Twan, getting to play against Vince. Mac Tar's back. Ed Cota was coming back. So now we get to see the guys that made us want to come to Carolina. We get to see them up close in person. We get to play against NBA All-Stars in pickup games where there's no rules and we going at it. Stack was coming back a lot too at that time. I don't want to leave Stack out. But I never forget, I think the thing that triggered us in between that sophomore and junior year was Mactar. He called us the Chapel Hill Lakers. Remember at the time, that's when Karl Malone, Gary Payton, they all went to the Lakers. He's like, y'all the Chapel Hill Lakers. All the talent in the world and can't win. And I think that kind of pissed a lot of us off. I know it pissed me off because, you don't want that label on you. You know what I mean? Right. So it forced us to work a little bit harder, man. And then coming back and seeing Twan, the $100 million man diving on loose balls and pickup games, that changes everything. You know what I mean? And then we see you every night. We're going to the gym to work out, and you're in there doing full court ball handling with jump shots at the end at 10 o'clock at night. And we're in there too. So it's like, oh, okay, we got it. This is what you need to do to be successful. So it just clicked on us and it kind of rubbed off on the younger guys, and we all got better together.
Oh, yeah. Y'all began to be, as I call it, pit bulls. Y'all were already tough, but now y'all begin to bite. You know what I mean? Y'all were biting, and I was like, they turning the corner because, for me, I was really hurt by what you guys had experienced your freshman year. You know what I mean? That took a toll on me because I felt responsible. You know what I mean? Since I'm there, I'm with you guys. I felt really responsible, and it bothered me a lot. But then, that's why I guess why, I would be in there and I'd be, sometimes it would be some good days, sometimes it'd be some bad days because I was in there trying to get some other people to understand how important this was. You know what I mean? It ain't just talent alone that's going to get you where you're trying to get to, man. You know what I mean? Like dedication and wanting to be a great teammate and doing all those things is what was needed. So, a lot of times, it was tough because I wanted you guys to be successful. And so leading into your junior year, what was going on? What happened? What did you feel about your junior year?
So this is now Coach Williams is coming in.
Right.
So Coach Williams first got there. backtrack real quick. Every school in the country recruited me. When I was coming out of high school, every school in the country except one, and it was Kansas. So now, out of all these coaches, the one coach that didn't recruit me is coming to be my coach. So I'm like, all right, when are we going to address the elephant in the room? That's my first thing. And when are we going to address this? You know what I mean? Even though I know I wasn't going to Kansas. There was nowhere in hell I was going to Kansas. But I felt disrespected that I didn't get the handwritten letter or a phone call. I felt disrespected about that. So, moving forward, I'm thinking like, all right, now I got to play for this guy. He comes in, and I feel like he got a bad report on us, on who we were as individuals. And so now you're living up against somebody else's word, because he's viewing us in this light that we don't deserve. You know what I mean? So we got to be who we are, but at the same time try to change his perspective. So, I came to another crossroad. I should just leave and head to the league. Because my sophomore year was actually statistically was my best year. I should have left. I'm like, I should just leave. I should just get out of here. But I'm like, I don't know if we still ain't where we need to be as a team. And I don't want this to come back to bite me. I'm having a great time at school.
Right.
I'm going to go ahead and stick this out because, once again, I ain't running from nobody. So it's going to be what it's going to be. And then as Williams came, he forced us to play as a team. And like you said, we turned into pit bulls. But, like in typical pit bull fashion, we bit each other a few times.
Yeah, there's going to be some biting in there.
Yeah, we put hands on each other a few times. And that was, it was needed. Family fight. You know what I mean? Families fight, we get into it. But we move forward. We all got better from it, and we continue to progress from there. In junior year, our record was the exact same as our sophomore year. I don't think a lot of people understand that, but the basketball was better.
Right.
The record didn't reflect it, but the basketball was better. The mentality was better.
Right. And so now, everybody began to understand, even like you said, even though the record didn't change dramatically, everybody began to see that you guys were beginning to turn the corner. And the summer was a really good summer, for a lot of you. We had we had some interesting things to go out through the summer, going to Greensboro and those types of things. But
we ain't bonding experiences. That's all that was.
Yeah. But the one thing that I did notice about that year for you guys, y'all began to be like this more. You know what I mean? Like the competition was always there. It's always going to be there because we're all competitors. But I noticed that you guys began to be like this more. I remember playing you guys in the summertime, and it was more like, we're going to beat them. You know what I mean? Like the pros, your mindset was, we're going to beat them. You know what I mean? I remember like Ray always wanting to guard me, like won't let nobody else guard. I'm guarding him. And you would be like, I'm guarding. If she was there, I'm trying to guard she. I'm guarding Torn. You know what I mean? Y'all were really, really focused, and y'all really challenged each other, and y'all became really, really tight. And I remember that. And so, can you speak more about that going into your senior year?
Well, one thing Coach Williams instilled in us was, if we played well and we win, we'll all get the awards and rewards. Mm-hmm. And we bought into that. But I think the defining moment going into that year was, I forgot where we went to eat. We all went out to eat as a team, just the players. We just, hanging out on Friday night, whatever. And we just like, hey, you trying to go pro? He trying to go pro. It's Jackie, Melvin, and myself, our last year, we're going pro. Let's just go ahead and win and everybody leave at the same time. That was the game plan. Because that year we had to have 6 people in the draft. Mm-hmm. But the plan was to have more than that. Like, because Dave and Ray Terry, everybody was in on this conversation. They said, hey, we win, we out. No man get left behind. Let them figure it out after us, but we leaving together. So that was part of it. You know what I mean? They was like, all right, now we got to play not only for our draft status and, you know, to become pros, we're playing for each other now. We gave ourselves an incentive. So now we're going out there and we're going to have to work together to make everybody get what they want. And it worked out. We got to end up getting our championship, and everybody went pro. Everybody started cutting the check for playing basketball.
Yeah. So walk through us how it felt to be in St. Louis that night, going into that championship game against a great Illinois team, and to finally, you know, I always say this, like for me, you know, I've never won a championship, but that championship was the best for me, because I felt like it was redemption for you guys, that class. You know what I mean? Like, for what you had been through, and you know all the things that, you know, just going back to that summer, and you know just the people's thought process about you guys, and you know, and they didn't understand when they was talking about you guys, they were talking about me too. You know what I mean? That's how I take it. Now they may not understand it, but that's how I took it. And so, you know, it was like, nah, they're gonna be fine. They're gonna be fine, you know, and I meant that, you know, because I felt like I said, I was there. So I felt it was on my shoulders too. And so when you guys won, explain to us how it felt when that thing was 0-0-0, you were the national champion.
All right. First of all, we knew we were going to win. We lost 4 games that year, and every time we lost, it wasn't like, damn, they beat us. It was like, we beat ourselves. Like, can't nobody beat us head up. Like, we just completely, we fell asleep a couple plays, and that's the only reason they won. So we never felt like anybody ever beat us, even though we had 4 losses. And then fast forward to the first few rounds or whatever, we knew those games were givens, except for the Villanova game, which was close, but we ended up winning that one. We get to the Final Four, you know, you got the opening ceremony, dinner, and the little banquet and stuff. We chilling, we laughing, we joking, and we looking around all the other teams, they with a serious face, looking at us like they gonna. I'm like, oh yeah, we sending them home. Like they just here for free gifts. We don't know what they got going on. Like they here for free gifts. You better enjoy that meal while you over here ice grilling us. Like we know what's gonna happen.
Right.
So after we beat Michigan State, we get to Illinois. Everybody all year screaming Illinois. I think they were undefeated or whatever at the time. But for whatever reason, I don't know why, Coach Williams came around every player individually. And he said, what do you think is going to happen against Illinois? Can we beat them? He came to me, Jawad, can we beat Illinois? I was like, man, we're going to blow them out. He's like, what makes you think that? I was like, well, we played them the year before, our junior year. We beat them pretty good. It was in Greensboro. I was like, and now we're going to play them again. Their team didn't change. I know we got better, and ain't nobody outworking us. We're going to blow them out. Mm-hmm. And, you know, they hit some halftime saved them, pretty much. Halftime saved them. They got their rest, got their legs back on them, made it a close game. But when that clock hit 0, it was different. Like, backtrack one more time. The night before the game, this is how relaxed we were. The night before the game was Sean's birthday. Sean's birthday was the championship game. The night before, we had a birthday party for Sean. All our friends and family came up to the hotel. We having cake and ice cream, sitting in the hallway, chilling. Right. We know we got the championship game tomorrow, but we didn't care. We knew we were going to win. So we get out there, and the clock hit 0. Sean grabs the final rebound. It was just like, we were excited, but it was kind of like, oh, yeah, we know this was going to happen. You know what I mean? But it still gave us a quick moment to reflect. And after the game, there was a picture that was taken of me, Jackie, and Melvin with our arms around each other. And we were saying a prayer because we actually been through it all at that point. We had seen the lowest of the lows, and now we're going out on top. That's so right. that was a crazy feeling, man. And then, like, looking back at it, after going back and watching the film and seeing how many people were there and how many people were into that game and how much people had invested into that, it meant a lot, man. It was serious. It was a serious moment for us.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it, you know, like I always tell Jackie, said, nobody cares what happened your freshman year.
Yeah, a lot of people forget.
What you did was just part of the process to get to that final ending. Because maybe if you had experienced that your freshman year, you probably wouldn't have won the national championship. You wouldn't have given it a drive.
And to this day, so many people bring that up. So many people tell me how that team inspired them, or how myself, Jackie, and Melvin inspired them, because they seen us at the dead bottom of college basketball and go out on top.
That's right.
That's a testament to the work that we put in.
That's right.
Like at this point, I'm well removed from college. I pat myself on the back now, looking back at that, because we went through it all.
Right. That's right.
From the losing to the coaching changes to being called thugs for going to a press conference that we knew nothing about. Last minute, you get a phone call, hey, you got to be here. We show up dressed like kids. We get called thugs. We didn't forget all that shit.
Right.
To this day, I don't forget shit. I remember. You know what I mean? So looking back, it's like, everybody got to eat them words. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Redemption. I think y'all were the redemption class, and you deserved it. You deserved it, and I just, like I said, I was more disappointed in how, what was being said about you guys, or said about that team, or said about us. You know what I mean? At that point in time, and it was like, there's nothing else that can be done except for you guys to, whatever we can do to help you guys get to that national championship, that's what needed to be done. And man, it was just so exciting to see you guys get there, knowing from which you came, and it's just testament. It's a testament. You guys are a really big class in the University of North Carolina's basketball history. And not because of having that tough freshman year, but what you did in 2005. Because everybody can't say it. As great as a career I was blessed to have, and all the wins I got. The one thing that I wish that I could have gotten was a national championship. And one thing that I feel like was important for you guys that was really great was the selflessness in that team. Y'all were extremely selfless, from, all the talent that you had. I mean, even Marvin, playing, coming off the bench and playing his role and doing that, man, it just showed, like you said, y'all were there for a purpose.
Yeah,
y'all were there for a purpose.
I agree. Coach Williams, he did a great job of making us blend in together. And then then you got to take, I give Ray the most respect, because even though we all sacrificed something, Ray made sure he kept all of us happy. As a point guard, that's hard to do, especially when you got a talented roster like we had. It's like, Sean can get you 20, I can get you 20, Rashad can get you 20. And if I'm Ray, hell, I can score 20 myself. So it's like, How do I get everybody a shot and keep them happy? Hey, Wise, you ain't touched it. We're going to run dribble. Hey, Sean, you ain't touched it. We're going to run kickback. Rashad need a touch. We're going to run B23. So he kept everybody happy and still was able to get his numbers. So I give Ray the utmost respect. Like, to this day, Ray is he's in my top 5 point guards of all time. Mm-hmm. And people just don't give him his respect, but he deserves it.
Yeah, no question. And so, thinking about Carolina and your experience at Carolina, what were some of the memorable moments for you?
I think the things that I remember the most all revolved around the Carolina family. It revolved around the former players coming back. I remember the alumni weekends. That meant a lot to me, because, that's when you get to meet everybody. You meet Vince, you meet She, we already knew you, but now everybody coming back and we seeing them in a whole nother element. And it's not like they don't know you. You know what I mean? Like, I remember when I first met Vince, it was like, oh, what's up, Wyatt? I'm like, oh, damn, he know my name. You know what I'm saying? Same thing when I met MJ for the first time. I'm walking through the tunnel. I'm walking in. He walking out. He like, Jawad, what's up, man? He get to talking to me about the game. I'm like, damn, this is MJ. I couldn't stop smiling. Like, this is Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? And to this day, every time I see him, what's up, Tar Heel? You know what I mean? Those are things as a kid you never expect. Right. So all my greatest memories revolve around being around Carolina family. And I think it shows in our families today because we all live within 30 minutes of each other. Right. John and Rasheed live right around the corner from me. Right. You have a house around the corner from me. Right. So it's like we see each other. You know how it is. You remember when I popped up at your house just cuz. Like I'm riding through the city. Like, let me go to my house real quick. Right. Yeah, that's the dynamic we have, and you know that's a great thing. And it started back in college. And another cool part about that is most of our wives graduated from Carolina. So, you know, we got this little bubble we've been living in our whole lives, and we still have that bubble, and we still move as a unit, which is great. Yeah.
And so, what was one of the funniest moments you've ever had at Chapel Hill? Well, you know, your time in Carolina.
Oh man, I don't know, man. There's so many. I'm pretty sure whatever it was, it got something to do with Melvin. I mean, it's so many, man. Like it was always something with Melvin in the middle of it. Always. Like, you know what I mean? If it wasn't for, you know, Rashad, remember when Rashad first started rapping, if it wasn't for Melvin picking on him about his lyrics and everything, man. It was always something. Whatever it was Melvin. I can't handpick one. And then you know our Greensboro experience, that's up there. You know what I'm saying? But we ain't gonna talk about that too much. The Greensboro experience is up there. That's definitely the top 5. Yeah. After the fact, it's top 5. At the time, it wasn't funny.
At the time, it wasn't. At the time, it wasn't funny. It wasn't funny. Yeah, and so let me ask you this: after you did all the reflecting and all the things that you've done, I mean, playing in the NBA for many years and playing in Europe and Asia and doing those things, you've been doing it now, like you said, been a professional for 16 years. And that's something that you wanted to do. That's something you aim to do. You aim to be a professional basketball player. You aim and work to be an NBA basketball player and those things. But what's the one thing that you would like all of the Carolina family to know about Jawad? What's the one thing, if you had to sum it up, that you want people to always know and say about Jawad Williams? What would that be?
Oh, man. And the crazy thing is, I think people do say this about me, and they know. They know I'm a loyal fighter. They know if I'm in your circle, you good. And I think most guys from Carolina will attest to that. Like, you can call me any time of night, I got you. Mm-hmm. Oh, you going to war? What time we going? Don't tell me, you ain't got to tell me why. What time we going? And I think most guys know that about me. That's about it, man. As long as you know that I'm going to war for mine, no matter what, and I'm loyal to the death. You know what I'm saying? So that's all. And I think everybody can attest to that for me. So, you know, that's my legacy.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you the one thing that I really like and began to appreciate about you is, you know, like I said, when you first came to campus, you were 17, 18 years old. And so now to see you at 38, and, you know, we've had dialogue, we've been in environments where, you know, we debate. The one thing that I have learned to appreciate about you is, you know, I appreciate that you shoot it straight. You know what I mean? Like, it don't have to be that I like it or dislike it. It just come to me straight. And I, as another man, you know, raised in the environment that I come from, that's all I really know, you know? And so, like, you don't, I always say this: if we family, if we brothers, I shouldn't have to sugarcoat it for you.
I'm with you.
I should be able to tell you what it is because I'm telling you that in love. And I've always, especially, once you, became your own man and had your own, to hear you and how you articulate that, your view. I really appreciate, like I said, you know what, man, that's what it is. You know what I mean? Not saying that anybody else don't, but I do watch you in that regard because a lot of times when you were younger, you would articulate. You turn it to, hey, Jawad, calm down. No, you know what I mean? And you still got a little bit of that. Everybody's still growing. But to see you to be able to articulate what you're saying and be direct with it and not be disrespectful, I appreciate that. Like,
I think the thing is, everything that I've ever said to anybody, I always tell people this too. If you don't want the truth, don't ask me. Like, I tell them, like, hey, you like this shirt? No, that shirt trash, dude. Like, I'm going to tell you the truth. It might, don't call me mean for asking. That's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? And like vice versa. I think what really made me change and turn the corner for that aspect, like you said, it's still there. But I know my triggers at this point. Right. But one of the last things that happened, it was you I talked to on the phone that night for 3 hours. You remember my last incident. Last incident. You was like, Jawad, you can't do that. And I'm trying to explain to you why I can do that. And you like, no, you can't. And I'm going back and forth, but we stayed on the phone for 3 hours that night. I remember I was leaving the Smith Center, sitting in the car at the Smith Center, drove home, parked, sitting in the car, finally walking the house, looking at the phone like, damn, it's 3 hours later. And I just got done. And Shy been talking to me this whole time, making me understand like why I can't do what I had just did.
Right.
Even though I felt I was right. I understood where she was coming from.
Right.
And like I said, when it's coming from a place of love, you can take it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know you wasn't telling me nothing wrong.
Right.
You was telling me something that would only benefit me in the long run. And I appreciate it.
Yeah. Because I think a lot of times, because we're in our bubble and we're interacting with one another all the time, I don't think that we take into account a lot of times the regard that people have for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, we just being us. You don't understand what that person is thinking about. You know what I mean? When they see, oh, that's Jawad. You know what I mean? Like, you don't take that into account.
That was David. David said the same thing. David was like, "No, you do know you Jawad Williams, right?" And I'm like, "What that mean?" At that point, I was like, well, "What that supposed to mean?" He like, "No." Listen to me. Why? You're Jawad Williams. Yeah. He's like, "You can Google you. You're somebody to somebody." You know what I'm saying? You can't be the Jawad that you were in Cleveland. You have to. You got to change. And that was the same conversation that you had. Yeah. Dave was like, yo, you Jawad Williams, right? You know that, right? He's like, so when you do stuff like that, people gonna talk about it.
Yeah. And it's great to see. It's like I said, it's great to see everything that you're doing. And like on this show, I don't really talk about our basketball careers as professionals and stuff like that, because everybody knows that, and everybody needs to know that we're much bigger than that. And so now to see, how you've grown and turned yourself into a conglomerate. I mean, like I said, you're author. You have your nonprofit. I mean, you've really you brought us all together to do things on campus with the social injustice and things like that. Just to see your leadership and to see everything that you've done, man. I can only say, man, job well done.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I learn from the best. I learn from people like you, man.
And I mean, like I said, man, I get to talk about you guys. It gets kind of emotional sometimes. You know what I mean? For me.
So, since we're here, let's go ahead and wrap this up like this. I want to make sure, on behalf of not only myself, but the guys that played with me, and some of the guys that even play after me, we have to give you your flowers for what you've done. not only for us as individuals, but for Carolina basketball. You know, when people talk about Carolina basketball, they talk about Coach Smith, Coach Guthridge, Coach Williams, you know, the bigger names in basketball, Phil Ford, Michael Jordan. But people don't understand that it was Shammond Williams who was there every single day in the summertime with us to make sure we were successful. It was Shammond Williams that said, all right, you got study hall from 6 to 8, have your ass out on this court at 8:15. It was Shammond Williams who went back and worked with Harrison Barnes. I know this. It was Shammond Williams who worked with J.P. Tikoto. It was Shammond Williams who kept who bridged that gap between Coach Smith players and Matt Doherty's players. It was you. You don't get enough credit for that. I don't think people outside of Carolina definitely don't understand. The things that went on at Carolina is nowhere right now without Shammond Williams, and another person I could put up there with you is Eric Hoops, because he always did a great job of bridging that gap. But when it came to building men, building character, and making sure everybody was on their P's and Q's, it was you. And I guarantee you, my guys behind me play with me, and some of the guys that play after me, they'll test and say the exact same thing. So here they go, your flowers. We appreciate you, man.
Thank you, Wad.
We appreciate you. You carried this program from the. I don't even know if you remember this. When I was in high school, I came to Atlanta with my cousins, and we were walking through Lenox Mall. And I remember seeing you with a whole bunch of dudes. You had the big fro at the time. Mm-hmm. And my cousin walked over to you and said, hey, that's my cousin, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't really want to speak to you because I didn't know you. You know what I'm saying? I just seen you on TV before. I knew who you were, but I was like, I ain't about to go over there. He'd be like, yo, get away from me, little dude. But you was like, yo, you going to Carolina? I'm like, yeah. You was like, yeah, man. When I see you, like, I'm going to take care of you when you get there. You know, everybody say that. Right. And day one, when I stepped on campus, you was right there. And we appreciate you for that, man. I appreciate you for that.
I appreciate it, Wad. It means a lot. It means a lot. When you get my age, you say, I hope that the work that I've done has helped. You know what I mean? And I appreciate that because, you know, that was just my job to do. And, you know, the best thing, like you said earlier, now you're doing the same thing. You know what I mean? So it's like it can't fail.
You broke me. You the one who broke me in overseas. You remember when I first came to Spain my rookie year? Yeah. I was like, man, and you called me like, hey, I'm in Barcelona. I'm a couple-hour flight away from you. But if you need me, just call me. Yeah. Man, I remember when we played against y'all, that was the happiest day of my life. I got to see somebody I knew. I was like, man. But from that point on, when I seen how you maneuver overseas, knowing that I already knew where you came from, I already been around you so much, to see how you maneuver overseas, it made me be like, oh, hell, it's bigger than the United States. I'm going to go get this money in Spain, then I'm going to go to Israel, then I'll just start country hopping. That's what I started doing. I was like, all right, I'm going to park here for 3 years, and then we're going to another country. That's like, right. Drop me, at this point in my life, you can drop me off anywhere in this world. I'm going to be okay, because I know. That's right. I know. You laid that groundwork for me, too.
That's right. You can navigate any environment. And that's great, you know, to see what you're doing with your children as well, because I'm like that too. I want my children to be able to navigate any environment that they're in, and to do those things. A lot of times they have to be exposed to them, and you know, it's just a great thing, man. But Jawad, man, you awesome, baby. You're awesome, and there's a lot more left in that tank. There's a lot left. Man. Hey. You might as well go and get 25, man. Turn to the player coach. You ever thought about being a player coach?
I thought about it, man. But, you know, remember I told you about I know my triggers? Yeah, man. I'm going to go ahead and leave that one alone, man. Like, once I'm done playing, if I decide I want to coach, I'm going to be fully invested in coaching. I don't want to be a player coach because, you know, as a player coach, you got one time to look me off. Like, I drew this play up for me. You know what I'm saying? So I know my triggers, man. So I ain't gonna even do that. Well, not even do it to myself. I ain't gonna do that to nobody else. I know my triggers now. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it is what it is. But I always, you know, I mapped out this goal, And so far, my career has gone exactly the way I planned it out. I'm a big fan of speaking things into existence.
Right.
I put it out there in the universe a long time ago. I said, I'm playing this game till I'm 40. And I'm going to make good money playing this game till I'm 40.
Right.
And then I'm going to retire. But then, I might hit 40 and be like, I got 2 more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the bag, right? I got a couple more in me. You know what I'm saying? Because the family love it. You know what I'm saying? The family love it.
That's right.
And you only get to do this once. And I thank God I have a supportive wife.
Yes.
Who's like, she even said it. You only get to do this one time. Because when you get done with playing basketball, we're going to be right here. Yeah. Like, you got all the time in the world for us after you get done playing. So go ahead, live it up. And
that's awesome.
Salute to her because she's been holding it down. You know how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, she's awesome. Does a great job.
So, yeah, man. Well, I appreciate you, man.
Oh, man. Well, we want to say thank you. The Carolina Conversation wants to say thank you, man. We really appreciate it. And, for me, man, like I said, man, I appreciate you participating. But I appreciate the man that you are. And, I love you. You're my guy. And
you too, man.
I'm in there for you. So, I when you shocked me a little bit when you said I've done 5 books. I felt like I was behind. I felt like I had gotten neglected that you hadn't told me. I hadn't put it out yet. I felt a little better.
You can't release everything at once. I gotta let that. You know what I'm saying? I can let them marinate a little bit.
I gotta support you. So I felt like I had, I felt bad that I hadn't been able to support you and purchase the book. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, no. I wrote them.
Yeah.
I just didn't put them out there yet. I put them. I'm just taking my time with releasing them. I'm trying to do it strategically. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
I don't want to flood the market. I don't want to pull a Master P and just flood the market. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm gonna wait a minute.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you go and support Jawad Williams and as his author with Nyla and Nash in Tokyo and Nyla and Nash in Paris. But more importantly, if you have an opportunity to be in Chapel Hill in the off season, once this COVID goes down, if you see Jawad, make sure you say hello. And you can also check him out with Strive to Excel. But Jawad, I want to thank you again for participating, man. Get you some rest. We really appreciate you staying up so late, being there in Tokyo or in Japan. And God permitting, man, we'll catch you when we get back.
Yes, sir. I'll see you this summer, man. Thanks for having me.
All right.